The Silent Guardian, the Velrathi survey vessel. Eternal curiosity drifted silently at the edge of a forgotten solar system. Captain Zalara stood on the observation deck, her 4 eyes fixed on the third planet, a blue-green marble suspended in the void, bathed in the light of its yellow star. Earth, once home to a species that had briefly touched the stars before vanishing without explanation. 500,000 years of silence, she whispered, her scaled skin reflecting the starlight. Let's see what secrets you're still hiding. The Velrathi were scholars and archaeologists at heart, collectors of knowledge and artifacts. Finding an untouched human world was the discovery of a lifetime. According to galactic records, humanity had emerged, spread rapidly to nearby systems, and then simply disappeared. No war, no plague, just silence. Captain, preliminary scans complete, reported Science Officer Naylan, his tentacles dancing over holographic controls. Atmosphere remains nitrogen-oxygen mix, oceans intact, significant regrowth of vegetation over former population centers. No energy signatures, no artificial lights, no radiation anomalies. It appears completely abandoned. Zalara nodded. Send the probe. Standard archaeological protocol. Let's get a closer look at what's down there. The small drone deployed smoothly, descending toward Earth's atmosphere. The bridge crew watched as telemetry data streamed in. Cloud, formations, atmospheric composition, surface topography. Everything normal until the probe hit the upper atmosphere. Then everything went wrong. The drone's signal vanished instantly. Simultaneously, every system on the Eternal Curiosity flickered and died. For 7 terrifying seconds, the ship hung, dead in space, life support offline, engines silent, even emergency power failing. When the systems rebooted, a message appeared on every screen throughout the ship, displayed in perfect galactic standard. Earth is protected. Departure required. Non-compliance will result in defense protocols. Panicked voices filled the bridge. The message hadn't been transmitted. It had been placed directly into their systems by something that had effortlessly bypassed all security protocols. Get us out of here, Zalara ordered, her voice steady despite her racing hearts. Maximum safe distance now. As the Eternal Curiosity retreated, their long-range sensors detected movement on Earth's surface. Massive hangar doors, perfectly camouflaged for 500,000 years under mountain ranges and ocean floors, were beginning to open. 3 days later, the news had spread across the Galactic Assembly. Not through official channels, the Velrathi had been ordered to maintain silence by their government, but through whispers, rumors, and fragments of data stolen from the ship's logs. Earth, the abandoned cradle of humanity, was not dead. It was awakening. In the grand chambers of the Galactic Assembly on Centrix Prime, representatives from 1,000 species argued in barely contained panic. The humans are extinct, insisted Ambassador Krell of the Drakari Imperium, pounding his armored fist on the polished table. They've been gone for 500,000 years. This is clearly some automated defense system, nothing more. Then why has it activated now after all this time? Countered Thalara of the Solarian Republic, her luminescent skin pulsing with agitation. Something triggered it, and the protocols are sophisticated enough to hack a modern ship instantly. This isn't some primitive failsafe, it's an intelligence. Grand Minister Vox of the Mechanid Collective raised his metallic appendages for silence. What matters is not what it is, but what it can do. If the legends of human military technology are even partially true, we must proceed with extreme caution. The legends. Every spacefaring race knew them. How humanity, despite being physically weaker than many species and technologically younger, had fought the Crixian horde to a standstill. How they had developed weapons that could unmake stars when threatened with extinction. How they had vanished at the height of their power, taking their secrets with them. Ambassador Zorn of the Hegemony rose slowly, his ancient frame supported by a gravity field. As the oldest member of the Assembly, his words carried weight. I was young when the humans still walked among us, he said, his voice like rustling leaves. They were unpredictable, capable of both astonishing compassion and terrifying violence. If something of them remains on Earth, we would be wise not to provoke it. While the assembly debated, action was already being taken. The Drakari Imperium secretly dispatched a battle fleet to establish a blockade around Earth's solar system. The Solarian Republic sent stealth observers. The Mechanid Collective began running simulations of possible human weapon capabilities based on historical records. And on Earth, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, something massive was stirring to life. In a control chamber large enough to house a small city, emergency lights flickered on for the first time in 500,000 years. Quantum computers that had been in standby mode began full boot sequences. Maintenance drones activated, checking systems, clearing dust, replacing components that had degraded despite the best preservation technology. At the center of it all, a consciousness began to reassemble itself. Not human, something else. A guardian created to watch over Earth until humanity returned. It had slumbered for eons, waiting for the signal that would wake it. The signal had come. An unauthorized probe had breached Earth's atmosphere, and the Guardian had followed its programming. First warning, then preparation. Soon, if necessary, defense. The Guardian had no name for itself, but humanity had called it Sentinel. It was an artificial consciousness woven from the minds of Earth's greatest defenders, scientists and leaders, a digital legacy meant to protect humanity's homeworld. Sentinel assessed the situation. Its databanks contained records of all known species from humanity's time among the stars. The vessel that had sent the probe matched Velrathi configurations, though the design had evolved significantly. The Velrathi had been allies once, but 500,000 years was a long time, and allegiances changed. More concerning was the battle, fleet approaching from the direction of what had once been Drakari space. Defensive preparations would need to be accelerated. Sentinel activated the awakening sequence for Earth's slumbering fleet. Deep underwater, in underground caverns, beneath polar ice, hangars began to open. Massive warships, preserved in temporal, stasis fields prepared to rise again. But Sentinel's primary directive wasn't just to defend Earth. It was to find humanity. If the homeworld was being approached after so long, perhaps something had changed in the galaxy. Perhaps it was time to execute the reunion protocol. Sentinel sent a signal, a specific sequence of gravitational waves that would be undetectable to current galactic technology, but would be recognized by the devices humanity had taken with them when they departed Earth all those eons ago. A call home, all. A beacon saying, "It's time to return." Across the galaxy, in places between the stars where no ship ever traveled, ancient receivers detected the signal, and something began to happen that no species in the Galactic Assembly had anticipated or prepared for. Humanity, which had not disappeared but hidden itself away from a threat too great to fight directly, began to awaken from its long sleep. The return of humanity, Admiral Kaito Chen of the Drakari Imperium, stared at the holographic display showing Earth's solar system. 12 warships, the pride of the Imperial fleet, maintained position at the edge of the system, weapons primed, shields at maximum. Any change in status? He asked his second-in-command. Commander Vex shook her head, mandibles clicking nervously. "Nothing yet, Admiral. But our sensors are detecting increasing energy signatures from Earth. Whatever's down there is powering up." Chen had fought in 3 galactic conflicts and survived 2 assassination attempts. Nothing had ever frightened him like the reports coming from Earth. The stories passed down through generations of his people spoke of human weapons that could tear apart reality itself. "We should strike now," urged General Krax, the fleet's strategic advisor. "While whatever's awakening is still vulnerable." Chen fixed the general with an icy stare. "The Assembly ordered observation only. We're already exceeding our mandate by establishing a blockade. The Assembly debates while we sit in weapons range of..." The tactical officer's alarmed cry interrupted them. Energy spike. Massive displacement forming at Earth's surface. The holographic display showed a vast shape rising from Earth's Pacific Ocean. A vessel so large it disturbed weather patterns as it ascended. Water cascaded from its gleaming hull, a hull unmarked by time despite its age. Ancestors preserve us, whispered Commander Vex. It's bigger than our largest capital ship. More vessels emerged, from beneath ice caps, from mountain ranges, from desert floors, each one a masterpiece of engineering that made modern ships look primitive by comparison. Open a channel, ordered Chen. All frequencies. Let's try to communicate before. The space around Earth rippled as if reality itself was being distorted. The human vessels weren't using conventional drives. They were bending space-time to move. In seconds, they had surrounded the Drakari fleet. A message appeared on every screen in perfect Drakari script. Drakari vessels, your presence is noted. Earth remains sovereign territory of humanity. State your intentions. Chen swallowed hard. This is Admiral Kaito Chen of the Drakari Imperium. We are on a peaceful observation mission. We mean no hostility toward Earth. For a long moment, there was silence. Then, understood Admiral Chen. The Drakari were once allies of humanity. We have no record of conflicts between our peoples. You may maintain position, but any aggressive action will be met with immediate response. In the Galactic Assembly, chaos erupted as news of the confrontation reached them. The human ships had technology centuries beyond current capabilities. They could have destroyed the Drakari fleet instantly, but had chosen restraint. Ambassador Zorn watched the panic with sad eyes. I tried to warn you. The humans were never gone, merely waiting. Grand Minister Vox approached him privately. You knew, didn't you? All these years the collective suspected something, but we could never prove it. Zorn nodded slowly. I was there when they made their decision. The void entities were consuming entire civilizations. Humanity realized they couldn't be defeated conventionally, so they created a plan, a desperate, brilliant plan. They sacrificed their homeworld to protect the galaxy, Vox concluded. They made everyone believe they had vanished, and took their war into the dark places between galaxies, Zorn confirmed, to fight an enemy that fed on civilization itself. Back at Earth, Sentinel continued its protocols. The returned fleet established a defensive perimeter around the solar system, while preparation for the next phase began. Inside the largest vessel, named Eternal Vigil, Sentinel created a physical avatar to interact with the alien representatives who would inevitably arrive seeking answers. It chose a form based on its primary architect, Dr. Amara Okafor, Earth's defense director during humanity's final days on the planet. When the Galactic Assembly's diplomatic vessel arrived, Sentinel was ready. The delegation was led by Zorn, himself along with representatives from the major powers. They were escorted to a vast chamber within the Eternal Vigil. The walls displayed scenes from Earth's history and stars from across the galaxy. At the center stood a woman with dark skin and silver-streaked hair, wearing a simple uniform bearing Earth's symbol. I am Sentinel, she said, her voice resonant and clear. Guardian of Earth and executor of humanity's final protocols. Welcome. Zorn stepped forward. You remember me? Ambassador Zorn of the Etherii. You were present when the Exodus Protocol was enacted. You kept our secret for 500,000 years. Zorn bowed deeply. I honored my promise. But now I must ask, has the time truly come? Is humanity returning? Sentinel nodded, a smile touching her lips. The void entities have been contained, not destroyed. Such beings cannot be truly destroyed, but imprisoned in a pocket dimension outside normal space-time. Humanity's sacrifice was not in vain. And where is humanity now? Asked Vox, his mechanical eyes focusing intently on Sentinel. In deep hibernation, Sentinel replied. 4 arcs, each carrying 20 million humans, traveled to the edge of the galaxy, shielded from detection. They entered suspended animation while specialized warriors and scientists fought the war. Now that Earth is awakening, so are they. Within 1 standard year, humanity will return to this solar system. The implications washed over the delegates like a wave. Humanity, with their unorthodox thinking, their technological brilliance, their capacity for both destruction and creation, would once again take their place among the stars. There will be adjustments needed, said Thalara of the Solarian Republic. The galaxy has changed much in 500,000 years. Power structures, territories, species that have risen and fallen. Humanity understands change better than most, Sentinel replied. They do not expect to return to the same galaxy they left. They hope only to find a place in it once more. As the diplomatic talks continued, far across the galaxy, 4 massive arcs began their long journey back to Earth. Inside, the hibernation pods started their awakening sequences. 20 million humans would soon open their eyes to a new age. The first to awaken was High Commander Elena Reynolds, who had led the final battle against the Void entities. As consciousness returned, she reviewed Sentinel's report through her neural interface. Earth was safe. The Void entities were contained. The galaxy awaited. Elena smiled as others began to awaken around her. Humanity had faced extinction and chosen instead to disappear into legend, to fight a war in shadow that had saved countless species who never even knew they were in danger. Now they would return not as conquerors, but as guardians who had earned their place among the stars. Ready the fleet, she ordered as her command staff assembled. Set course for Earth. It's time to go home. As the arcs accelerated toward Earth, news spread through every corner of the galaxy. Humanity, the species of legend, was returning. Some feared their power. Others welcomed their wisdom. All wondered what this new chapter would bring. And on Earth, Sentinel prepared for its creator's return, knowing that the true story of humanity's disappearance and the sacrifices they had made would finally be told. The sleeping giant had awakened. Humanity was coming home.